control.
Ed.
That's mono almost ready to go, just waiting on the DJ.
Just let us know when you're good to open and open up.
Yeah, will do.
Dundee University Student Union is widely regarded to be one of the safest nighttime venues in Dundee. From the moment you arrive at the front doors, the customer safety team is working tirelessly to ensure both staff and customers will have a safe and enjoyable night. With 25 cameras covering the union, customer safety is able to oversee everything that's going on during the night. They themselves are often unnoticed by the students, but their duties nevertheless ensure that the union remains a place people can have access to the facilities that they need in a safe environment.
I've worked here for about 4 years.
I have been working at DUSA for just over a year.
Worked in DUSA since October 2012, so a little over 2 years.
I've been working at the union for over a year, I think a year and a half.
I've been here for I think about coming up on 3 months now.
The role of the customer safety team is, or as a member of the customer safety team, is ultimately doing exactly what it says in the tin.
What we try to do is try to find the balance, the safe balance between the safe environment and the nightclub.
If you're in early, you'd help set up the venues, so setting up queues, setting up mono, floor 5, making sure you have everything ready to go, setting up smoking shelters out front to stop people getting wet, setting up the smoking area.
Making sure that customers have a fun, enjoyable experience, but also in a safe way.
Say for instance you see someone that's in a bit of bother, like they've had a bit too much to drink, go over, you chat to them, make sure they're okay, all that kind of thing.
It's not a secret, we all are students, but we all tend to have a bit too much to drink, and sometimes we can become a threat not only to ourselves but to others, and we need to prevent that, and that's what we're looking for.
It's pretty much 90% of this job is just chatting to people, like in a very kind of high-paced environment. You're trying to get to know them very, very quickly to gauge what kind of person they are, if they're suitable to come into the building, if they are safe to come into the building. Like for instance, if they're too drunk, there's no point in putting them down in somewhere like mono where it's a sweat box, because as soon as that heat hits them, the first place they're going is the bathroom, and they're going to stay there for the rest of the night, and it's not safe. It's not safe for them, it's not fair on us.
Keeping everyone calm, making sure they're not getting too rowdy, bumping into other customers.
Spillages, broken glass for instance, that we get facilities clean up, or looking at crowd dynamics, the way people are interacting in mono or any of the venues for that matter.
Making sure you get home safe and sound into your own bed with your friends, not with strangers.
Everyone's okay, they're well, they're safe, they're happy, like they can get home, all that kind of thing. So it's a lot to do with like duty of care.
Assessing people, how intoxicated people are, so whether we think they've had too much to drink, whether they're at risk to themselves.
We'll get your first aider, get your water, make sure you're okay, you're not vomiting. Find your friends, your flatmates, get your night bus, get you home safe. Make sure you're in your flat and you're safe, and that you're not just left to wander the street and get into a vulnerable position.
If somebody's involved in a massive fight or something, we first aid them, make sure they're okay. If they need the hospital, we'll actually call an ambulance to take them to the hospital, or get a night bus again to drive them up to Sidewise.
As a first aider, I'm constantly assessing someone for their inebriation. If I think they are what we call drunk and incapable, then we have a responsibility to take care of you.
Throughout my time here, certainly I've noticed that the level of incidents and first aids that we have has massively decreased, and that is testament to the staff as well. It's not just in the customer safety department, it's across the board.
There has been a 40% decrease in the amount of incidents since last year. Average footfall is 2,500 per operational night. In February 2014, DUSA launched a zero-tolerance policy against sexual harassment and bullying. This policy can be found on the DUSA website.
When you become a senior, you start to take a lot more responsibility.
So on a typical club night, there's 3 seniors involved.
There's control. So control's in charge of the cameras, being in charge of the radios, and generally controlling how all the teams are working together. So control's kind of main idea is to keep everybody functioning well as a well-oiled team. If something was to happen, to relay that information to other people. If someone needs a first aid, to then pass that information along, get a first aider, make sure we then call a night bus to come collect that person if they need to go to hospital, if they need to go home. They also deal with the police over the phone, as well as dealing with any of the fire precautions such as the fire alarms.
One is in charge of the door ensuring that the door policies are adhered to.
They'd be in early and they'd be the one that oversees the door team, makes sure that they're functioning well. If something was to happen or someone had a complaint at the door, they'd be the person that then gets referred to. So if someone's unhappy that they've not been allowed into the building, they'd be the person that then step in to speak to that person, try to explain the reasons why, try to make sure they're understanding of what we are trying to get across to them, and that if there's the opportunity that in a while they're able to come back and we're able to speak to them again and possibly give them the chance to enter the building, where otherwise they might have just been told they're not going to come in tonight. They're usually the person that steps in to deal with people who are becoming a bit aggressive or rude towards as well, and just try to placate the situation. Final seniors S3, who comes in really early and does a lot of the setting up, so the thing that people don't see, like setting up the queues, going around checking the building's safe, doing the fire checks, setting up meeting rooms and rooms for clubs, societies, setting all that sort of stuff up, making sure they're into the venues that they've booked and they get the time they need.
We oversee that the venues are ready to open, ensure the safe running of the whole nighttime experience.
Being the kind of person to react and being, if there's a major problem or if someone's unhappy with the way they're treated, S3 is usually the one that will step in and then deal with that person.
We ultimately have to deal with any problems that occur and deal with the more difficult customers.
As well as helping with the first aids and covering some of the other jobs as well, and going in tomorrow to make sure everything tomorrow's okay, reassessing the capacity that can afford to have more people in, as well as kind of being the go-between between every other department.
As well as maintaining a good relationship with the other departments, the customer safety team must also have a good relationship with the students. This understanding between the team and the students is vital to the functioning of the union.
I feel that they do a very good job.
A couple of people have been involved in fights and scuffs and that, so customer safety obviously get involved, but they're just trying to break stuff up in essence, not try and hinder people's nights, if you will.
Just think it's really good at the union. I think everything's pretty good and never any problems. Any time that there's ever seen anything that's been like a risk of anything happening or whatever, and it seems like people step in quite quickly and get it sorted out. It doesn't really ruin kind of time that everyone else is having.
You can always come to them whenever there's a problem.
You know, the minibus service they run home, that's just sort of the only thing common on with customer safety.
When I used to live in Hamford Street, I took the night bus like 3 times a week, and the driver, he was really helpful.
I feel safe at the union, yeah. It's one of the better clubs and safest clubs in Dundee anyway.
Around 85% of students on campus refer to customer safety as bouncers, seeing them more as security than safety and care.
Do I look like a bouncer? Because I'm not a bouncer, and that's why we don't call ourselves bouncers, and we don't like it. We don't like the image. That's why we call it customer safety, not security. That's a completely different image that we try to keep with.
We have a much larger duty of care to students.
We're not the fun police.
Yeah, working right here, then you'll see what it's actually like. It's not the same as a working with bouncers. It's very professional. It's very slick. It's all for the it's all mainly there to enhance the experience of all our members who come here on the night out.
I think the difference is a lot of us have come through the union, so we've not started off as we've been a doorman on a club or something and came here. We're all students. The majority of us have started at the union, so we operate in different ways.
We are not really bouncers in the strictest sense. We are more concerned with making sure people have a good night.
I think we often get referred to as the fun police, and it's not what we're all about, and it's not why we're here. We want people to have an enjoyable evening.
I'd say the bounciness is very, very wrong, specifically in DUSA, because we have such a vast duty of care.
Most issues the team has to deal with are resolved on the spot. However, sometimes further action must be taken.
As a private members club, we have our own internal disciplinary procedure. So when somebody, let's say, is involved in a fight, they go to a panel, which is made up of student representatives from the SRC, Residential Council, where they assess all the information, so statements that are written on the night out in question, to which then the panel makes a decision if this person's found guilty, and if so, who's going to get a ban or a fine. So a ban's normally for someone who's a danger to the members, and more importantly to the staff, Fines normally to punish someone for doing something wrong.
Because of the fact that we have the SRC and we have a disciplinary council to go to, I think we, rather than just throwing someone out, we're able to investigate what goes on a lot more, have a greater response to how people behave, and I think it prevents accusations getting made, and we deal with stuff a lot more fairly, and our decisions are allowed to be questioned in that way as well.
Anybody that we make from disciplinary fines or people that we caught underage drinking fall under the same sort of bracket of fines. So all that money goes towards buying cases of water to give to students who had a bit too much to drink on a night out. The mainly getting given away at the end of the night when everyone's sort of leaving, so we've got members of customer safety and venue support as well. Literally handing out bottles of water, something that a bit making sure they get home safe.
We try to make sure that everybody can enjoy the night in a safe environment.
There's a reason why we are the safest nighttime venue in Dundee. You know, it's testament to everyone that works here.